Oh, man, that intro is just the way it should be. It is Thursday, November 30th, last day of November. We're talking about an F-bomb drop on an OEM. Lots of OEMs. 4,000 dealer letter, or 4,000 dealers signed a letter. That's too much for a Thursday. I quit.
There were a lot of words.
I quit.
Got him.
Quit. I mean, episode 601 today. 601.
I know. You know what I was thinking? I'm just going to think out loud here for a minute. I was listening to the intro that you don't hear if you're just listening to audio pod.
True.
I was listening to the hype music that we come into. I was like, you know what? We got to get with the team and change the artwork. Like the artwork is not that vibe.
Reflective.
So, maybe we'll change the artwork.
It's kind of nostalgic now. Like we went through this phase, loved it. And then we're like, we got to change it. And then you're like, you know, it looks so good on the screen at a SoduCon that it's hard to move away from it. But look, we've been doing this podcast, and everybody who has Spotify know that yesterday was a massive day because Spotify Wrapped dropped, and Spotify Wrapped, WRAPPED. It's basically they deliver to you this culmination of all your listening habits, the bands you like the most, the podcasts you like the most, how many minutes you've listened. And as a podcast creator, they give you some information on the people who have, partaken of your show. So throw the graphic up. In 2023, 217 people had us in their top 10 podcasts, 132 in their top 5, meaning of all the podcasts and things they listen to, these couple hundred people listen to this show the most, which is incredibly encouraging. Thank you so much. Be with you. Yes. We're going to keep working hard every morning to build a quality show that keeps you in the know and maybe makes you laugh a little bit, roll your eyes a little bit. I mean, we sure do all of those things every single day.
We'll do all those for sure.
Two of the top fans, though, we're going to give shout outs today. Michael McDonald and Sean Hopper. We know you both. We love you so much. Actually, send us your address because we just got these new Love People More Than You Love Cars mailers, and we're going to fill this with a Sodu swag, and we're going to send it to you. So make sure you send your info. If you know us, just text us if you have our numbers, or you can just send it to crew@asodu.com, and we're going to hook you up.
There you go.
That's a great way to start a show, isn't it?
It's a great way to start.
It felt so good. It felt so good.
Let's just get into, we got to talk about the Auto Collabs episode dropping today because we had an interview.
It's another podcast we have
on Auto Collabs. We have many podcasts, but that's our like long form. It's about 25-30 minutes interview podcast. We had it with Greg Euland, for the VP of marketing for Reynolds and Reynolds.
Great combo.
We titled it 39 Feet of Paper, which means you have to go listen to it. It's available on all podcast platforms right now, or you can watch it streamed live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and X at 1 p.m. Eastern today. Really fun interview, and he's a content creator too, and so man after our own hearts, so it's always fun jumping on the podcast.
And some surprising facts that I found out during this interview. You'll see it in my face. I was like, what? Yeah, so it's fun moments. We also have a webinar coming up December 13th, just a couple weeks from today, or from yesterday, 1 p.m., December 13th, transforming car buying with our friends at Upstart, the power of connected auto retailing. We hope you join us. Quick shot webinars. They're fun. They're fast. You're back to your day with a little more education. Go to asotu.com, scroll up a little bit, register, and we'd love to hang out with you there. And we do take questions, by the way, while we're on it.
There you go.
All right. All right. Let's talk about some news. We're going to start.
You thought we weren't going to say this thing.
He's back. After a hard-fought, successful effort in recent negotiations with Detroit's Big Three, Shawn Fain, the president of the UAW, they are putting on a full-court press to unionize every other non-union automaker with a rather public initiative, I'll say, as workers at 13 non-union automakers will be announcing the launch of simultaneous campaigns. So Look, no one's left out of the fun. Even all the new EV entrants like Tesla and Rivian, they really want to be they really want to be considered a legit automaker. So we're going to let them throw their hats in the mix to be unionized as well. Wow. Shawn Fain said in a video, of course, to all, now this, I'm just going to read this and be like, this sounds like a paragraph crafted by him and his other little political narrative writers. The money is to all the auto workers out there working without benefits. Can you play some music behind me? Without benefits of a union. Now it's your turn. The money is there. The time is right. You don't have to worry about how you're going to pay for your rent or feed your family while the company makes billions. A better life is out there. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said when asked about the effort, I disagree with the idea of unions, and continued that if Tesla is unionized, it will be because Tesla deserves it and they failed in some way.
Isn't that is such a statement?
Accountable leadership right there.
I'm actually, when I read that, I was put back in my seat.
You didn't think that was going to be the second half of the statement?
Never would I have thought. Like, if our workers feel like they need a union to protect themselves against us or fight against us, then we're doing it the wrong way.
Dang.
Like, okay. Leadership lesson learned. Go about your day.
Oh, man. So multiple other OEMs released statements, of course, pointing to their history of treating employees well and saying unions would make it more difficult to treat their employees so well. And here's the strategy for this synchronized campaign. If 30% of workers at a plant seek union representation, it's going to be made public. They're going to make an announcement. If they get to 50%, Shawn Fain is going to show up in his not private jet, and they're going to have a big old rally, right? And once they get to 70%, the UAW will push for recognition or a union vote. So, I mean, the strategy's out there, and it's a play, man, for real.
It's going to be a saga. I'm just telling you.
I'll tell you what, the Detroit Big Three are just like,
yeah, they got off clean in this one, right?
We're good.
In my opinion.
Yeah, Mary Barr's like, we're super profitable, super helpful. And look, all the other OEMs,
no sweat. Here we go. Right?
No, we got 4 years to worry about this one. And then, like, obviously, you saw all the other moves by a lot of the other automakers raising their pay, right? Getting everything equalized. They probably saw this coming, and there was a really smart move. But hey, look, in the end, workers will get to decide. And I think we'll say it this way: Elon Musk, I think, kind of said it best.
He said it best,
which he usually doesn't say it
decide.
Best. Oh,
stop.
Segue
time.
Yeah, so this is a big one. Nearly 4,000 U.S. dealerships have collectively urged President Biden to reconsider aggressive EV targets. If you're not watching on the screen right now, we have a map representing pretty much all the states with the dealership count that are represented, and it's a lot, right? 4,000. So basically, they sent a letter to Biden to focus on the challenges of EV adoption. The initiative was led by Mickey Anderson, CEO of Baxter Auto Group, and a broad group of dealers, various states, various brands, on concerns over the EPA proposal that is recent, trying to push EV sales to 60% by 2030 and 67% by 2032. The letter sent on Tuesday begins appropriately as the voice of the customer, which is an interesting way for the dealers to actually put it back on the government. Like, actually, you're not listening to the voice of the customer. And it continues, what I and other dealers identified early on is that the voice of the customer was really absent from this entire conversation. There's no way we'll have a scalable solution if we don't have consumer adoption. These vehicles are ideal for EVs, ideal for many people, and we believe their appeal will grow over time. The reality, however, is that electric vehicle demand is not keeping up with the large influx of BEVs arriving at our dealerships. Mary Rice, dealer principal at Toyota of Greensboro in North Carolina, who signed the letter, one of the early signers, she put a little data behind it. She said, of the 5-state footprint the group has, the oldest Prius, which is a hybrid, is only 5 days old. However, the oldest BZ4X full EV was 266 days old. This is amazing. I think this is an amazing approach.
This is just just to say that, hey, look, the reason why this goes back to what we say all the time. Like, the reason why the franchise retail operation is so good for the country is because it looks at the customer first every single time and says, what did they want? What did they need? How can we serve them? And so this initiative just puts that plainly and clearly in the arms of a political push. And so to say like, hey, we're listening to the customer. This is what the customer's telling us. They're telling us with their dollars. They're telling us with their words. We are attempting to listen. And I loved this, that there was actually a nod to say, hey, look, there's a lot of customers that this is going to be good for. We're not like just throwing out all BEVs from adoption or leaning or being available for purchase. It's just that the rate and the progress at which we get there is not being determined by consumer demand. And like for 4,000, that's 1/4 of the overall dealerships. I'm guessing probably that the only reason why the other 75%
because they didn't know about it.
They didn't know about it. Like that's the only reason. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean it's cool. It's like an independent thing, right? Like NADA obviously voiced support for it. Jared Allen said in a statement, you know, how on point this was. But hey, like that, leave it to dealer entrepreneurs to put this together, get a rational approach, a consumer-driven approach, because frankly, entrepreneurs don't have any other option. It's like if you're not listening to the consumer, then you die. That's how it goes. And so, yeah, it's good to just see this moving on. Speaking of moving on.
Stop. Segue. Time.
So we are going to take a moment to pay our respects to quite the legend. If you know the name Charlie Munger, he was Warren Buffett's right-hand man and a pivotal figure in building Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. He passed away at age 99. He was always renowned for his simple yet profound advice on business and life. There are a few key rules for success that we just wanted to highlight this morning.
These are so
draw a little bit of attention to, talk through maybe just a little bit, and just give back to what he said, because they're key rules for like living in the world of business, and so I love it. So here we go. We're gonna read it. Give a little commentary on each. Boom, boom. Here we go. Munger's first rule emphasized integrity in sales. So he said, the safest way to try to get what you want is to try to deserve what you want. It's such a simple idea. It's the golden rule. You want to deliver the world that you would buy if you were on the other end.
Look, it's easy to ask for things, but it's really hard to be realistic with yourself and saying like, do I actually deserve what I'm asking for? And this isn't just like in a sales situation. This is in every situation.
Yep.
This just goes across the relationship board, right? Like you can even ask for something from a spouse or a friend. And like, the real question is like, do I deserve what I'm asking for?
Have I built the relational equity?
Oh man, it's so good. It's so broad.
Yes. So broad. It's
very
so,
good.
so applicable. All right. Second advice, focus on professional relationships distinctly. You particularly want to avoid working directly under somebody you don't admire or don't want to be like. It's dangerous.
Ooh. I mean, there's somebody who has had a long career of finding people that could bring him forward. Obviously, he worked directly under Warren Buffett for many, many, many years. And that's obviously the result of him paying attention to. And that's true. Like a lot of people get stuck working for somebody that they don't have respect for, or they have more disrespect for than respect. And we look around the industry, and just in automotive specifically, you see so many of these amazing leaders and people that line up to work for them. And you just see how the organization thrives because everyone is being fulfilled. And look, we also see that in the opposite direction. You see the bad eggs and the bad dealers and the crooked ones. And what happens to all the people underneath them? You start to actually function and become just like them. Very dangerous.
Brutal. All right. Last rule as we wrap up this morning. It said, I've found that intense interest in any subject is indispensable if you're going to excel. I could force myself to be fairly good in a lot of things, but I couldn't excel in anything in which I don't have an intense interest or enjoy. If at all feasible, you want to maneuver yourself into doing something in which you have an intense interest alongside people whose company you enjoy.
Hey, this one rings home. Like when I think of the Asoto community,
yes,
right, and what we're doing, what we're working towards, how we're working towards it, whether that's changing the perception of the industry or just becoming very, very, very high level operators, profitable operators. It's pretty obvious that there's some focused intensity on that. There's some great community and people that enjoy working with and for one another. And hey, I think every day we understand that like we want to be the people that deserve what we're asking for. And for us as podcasters, as media creators, it's your attention, honestly.
Can't ask for anything
Can't
more.
put
All
out
right, you want the kicker?
content.
You want the
Here
kicker
it is.
here? Here's the kicker. Speaking of great operators, as a note, Berkshire Hathaway got into retail auto in 2015 with the acquisition of the Van Tile Group and now operates 103 franchises.
It's a few
across 27 brands in 10 states.
It's great to have that DNA and Charlie Munger's legacy as a part of the automotive industry. We hope that we shared a little bit of value with you today. Hope you can share the show and the email with other people as we all go forward together. See you next time.